Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under, and it is Sunday, so that means it's Scraplift Crafternoon, and I'm so lucky to be part of this group of amazing talented ladies. And this week we're picking up a layout from Lori Winiarski, who is Scrapbooking Bits on Instagram, and I'll have her details down below. And this is the layout that I'm creating using that as my inspiration. So I have pulled together some bits and pieces out of my stash, and some of this is quite old. I've had it for a while. I've got some blue ribbon. I've got these beautiful bow bunny brads that I'm going to incorporate. I have my little quote. I have doilies. I've also pulled together a branding strip that I'm going to tie in. And I love these doilies. I knew I had some coloured ones somewhere, so I went and searched for them. This is another wedding layout. It seems that this Scraplift Crafternoon is dragging out all my wedding photos, and that's really good because I need to get it done for my daughter's wedding album. I'm also going to do some die cutting there, as you just saw. So this is a basic grey piece of paper. I've had this for a while, and I'm now going to use it. It's tragic, because I love basic grey and it is now almost impossible to find. So I'm going to trim it down, but what I'm going to do with this one is a little bit different. I am using this blue as my inner base for this layout, so I'm going to trim it out of a frame, and I'm going to put the frame aside to use later on a base somewhere down the track. Pardon me, that's something that I used to do a lot of, and I've forgotten how to do it and got out of the habit of doing it. So I'm going to start doing that again, because it's a great way, instead of just cutting off strips and wasting those strips, this way I can actually utilise it in future layouts. So I'm going to distress the edges just as Laurie did in her layout, and that adds some interest to it, of course. And when you do paper distress, you do get paper dust. I try to not get too much, but depending on the paper and the pulp in the paper as to how much you actually get when you are distressing it. I always tape around the whole of my layout so that it sits flat on the frame, and I do one release at a time so that I don't buckle my page. Well, I try not to buckle my page. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't, and sometimes I have to lift it to make sure that there isn't a ripple in there. I then have this strip here, which I'm going to run across as the horizontal band in the middle, and it will overlap to the edge of that layout. And it's nice to put some trim on a layout, and Laurie had some on hers that was marrying the two pieces together. So I'm putting this blue ribbon across the top and bottom of this horizontal band, and I'm just adhering it with both tape and glue so that it won't lift in the future, but it allows me, because it's tacky glue at the moment, to manipulate it where I need to when I'm putting down the extra parts to this layout. So it is tying all the colours of the background together and the colours from the photo. Now this photo, as I said, is from my daughter's wedding. It is my family photo from that wedding, so it's all of my family, all of her family, her brothers and sisters, and my mum and my husband and I in it as well. So it's a great photo. I have got that photo done twice, and this is one of the layouts that it will go to, and this I think will be in my album, and the other one I'll do for her album. So this is a frame that I've taken the middle out of because I needed to cut those circles. I'm putting that all together into the middle here. The doily is sitting on the layout just the same as Laurie has on hers, and then I'm just layering up from here. Now I do like the doilies on the layout. They're something that I do like, but I don't actually use very often. It's really difficult for me to find coloured doilies, but I really was grateful. These have been donated to me somewhere along the line in a swap, and I really do appreciate them, and I am now using them. And I'm tucking it in underneath here so that I get the third one on the page, and as I said, I've got that tape and glue in place there, which is allowing me to manipulate that space just a little bit until I am finalised with this whole layout. So I'm going to glue this one down into place as well so that it holds, and then I can put down that strip over the top. Using my paper trimmer, I'm going to trim off the excess, and then that is a nice neat finish to the edge of my layout. So I have the 3 points that Laurie has on hers, and what I'm going to do now, she had leaves in hers, so I'm putting these viney leaves in. I'm building it because this photo was taken actually in the wildlife sanctuary, so we were down towards the back, right in the area that is native for the kangaroos and the emus. They just wander through, and this particular photo here, we were all sitting on an area in the bush part of the wildlife sanctuary where my daughter had her actual wedding ceremony. So these die cuts here, I've cut in the green and the blue to complement the colours of the page, and also to complement the colours of the photos. So you can see that my daughter and her husband, they were in the dark colours at the front, in the black, and they specifically asked us to wear lighter colours as long as we didn't wear black. So we've all gone with greys and whites and purples, and my youngest went with a bottle green to be part of this day for my daughter. I'm just adding in a file tab here to the top right, just as Laurie has on hers, and I'm just building up these bottom floral clusters. Mine are not the autumnal leaves that Laurie has on hers. I've got more of a spriggy type leaf happening, and that allows me to spread it more like a wedding approach with the clusters in place on this layout. I'm just tucking this one in at the back so that I'm adding a little bit of colour to that foliage cluster along the top of that photo, and making sure that it is all stuck down. Now looking at it, I'm feeling that my clustering is a little bit flat, so I'm going to have to do something about that. I am adding this branding strip quote onto it over here to the right, just as Laurie has on hers. This one says, live for the moment, you can't put into words, and that's pretty much sums up the day. It really was a great day. It was very special. It was very intimate. There were not that many people there, much more than us. It was a very small, very intimate wedding. We had about that many people again. So I think all up we had 24 on the day. So it was a nice little tiny wedding, very quiet, very personal, and yeah, we all had our own experiences in the wildlife sanctuary. We all got to be with the animals. We all got to have our photos. And my girlfriend, who I went overseas with recently, she actually was the photographer. So there are well over 3,000 photos that are from this actual event. So they will slowly, eventually all get into an album. It's because there are almost none that can be eliminated. They are just brilliant photos. So I'm just picking out the brads now to build up these clusters. And as I said, I was looking at the clusters and I was thinking they're a little bit flat. So after I put in these brads, I definitely build up more into them. I'm loving how the colour scheme is all coming together. That bright pop of the green is a nice contrast with the blue, and the blues are in the tiny flowers in that background, and the dark blues of these brads are being reflected from the papers. And even though, like, I was wearing a silvery grey and my husband had on a silvery grey, the colours are reflected like in the blues. It looks like they've got that blue shimmer, so that's how it all comes together nicely in this layout. There's the hints of the pinks and the reds through my daughter's lantern that she carried as her floral arrangement, and also in the arrangement on her husband's pocket floral pocket, what's it called, bonniere that I created for him. And you can just see how this is all coming together. Now with the brads, I put some washi tape over the back of them so that when I put them into the layout, the page next to it is not damaged, but also they don't catch on the pocket sleeves as they slide into the page protector. So that's just a little tip of keeping brads friendly in a layout. So I went back and I have cut some flowers with my punches, and I'm just building those into the clusters because I just wanted something else to give it a little bit of a lift, just to build it up, give it some dimension and something to look at a little bit more. And I'm actually happy that these clusters now look like they're filled. So I'm just putting in the double layering of the flowers. I have pinched the petals of the retro daisies, and that gives that dimension and shadow to the layout. Putting in some Nouveau drops here. These are crystal Nouveau drops in the same colour of the blue, and that allows for that all to come together in those clusters. Now I feel like they've actually bulked up and they actually feel better on the page, and you can see the visual triangle there with the brads. Just putting in the final word phrasing into that photo tab at the top, and that says a favourite moment. And there you have this layout that I have been inspired by Laurie's great layout that she's allowed us to scrap lift this week. I've kept pretty close to her layout. I tried to follow everything that she had on hers and put it into mine. So this is how it looks nice and close. Don't forget to check out the playlist below of all the girls playing along. As I said, I am very, very lucky to be part of this group of very talented scrapbookers, scraplifting, some very, very creative people out there. And we really do love the opportunity to emulate other people's work and inspire others to keep scrapping and getting those pages into albums. Well, as I said, I really do appreciate you visiting today. This is my final layout. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if I've inspired you or you see something that you like. Let YouTube know that you like my content. Thank you to all my subscribers who keep returning, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it also helps me. Leave me a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Find me on all my socials under Kathy Loves to Scrap, including Instagram, where all my layouts end up, even those without a video. I thank you once again for watching. Happy scrapping till next time. Check out the next video that I'm recommending.